Hi everybody. So today we are going to work on an eye look because I actually have to go to work. You see my hair is actually a little bit wet right now, but I am going into work in person. So I'm going to be wearing a mask. So what I want to do is make my eyes pop. So when I'm at work, I'm still wearing makeup, but you know, everyone's going to notice what's going on here, not here, here, not here. Okay? So face has been prepped, so cleansed, anti-age serums, and moisturizer. So anti-aging serum, of course, is Age Reversist. And then my moisturizer I've been using lately because I am acne prone and a little bit oily is the Tea Tree Face Cream. So today I'm going to mix my my foundations up a little bit just because I really want to get a good match on my face. So I'm using a flat foundation brush and I'm using my CC cream. CC cream means color corrector. I always have to make sure that I've got my color corrector. And I'm also using Stay Matte foundation. It's a Stay Matte mineral enriched foundation. This is in the color number 103, and then the color corrector is medium to dark number 04. So in order to mix my foundations, I'm actually just going to put them right on my brush together and buff it into my skin. You know what? I forgot that before I can put foundation on, so you can see those two colors, I'm going to kind of buff and mix together on my face. Before I put my foundation on, you know, one step you should never skip. Primer! There you go. So this is the VFX Pro Perfecting Primer. And it's great because it's got some light diffusers in it. It actually helps to mattify your skin, but it also acts as a barrier between your skin and your makeup, so the makeup doesn't fall and sit inside your pores. I'm definitely, you know, want to mattify my nose area, my forehead, because that's where it gets the worst. And then the rest of my face. But technically though, the rest, you know, this is going to be covered up with a mask. I'm still putting makeup on down here, but you know, it's going to be covered with the mask. So does it really matter? Probably not. But for the sake of completeness, we're going to prime the entire face. So I like to let that sit for like a little bit just to kind of make sure that the primer gets in really, really well. And we're going to talk about some of the colors that we're using, since we're going to be doing a really intense eye. I'm actually going to be using the Mono eyeshadow in Amazon Green. I love that color. It's really pretty. I plan on wearing like a brownish fall-y kind of color at work today, so I'm gonna go ahead and go with that. But to make it dramatic, we're going to be using this matte black mono eyeshadow, and this is called Black Tide. And it's amazing how matte that is. When you look at it, it almost looks like it's sucking light into it. It's so cool. I really like this color. It's great for liner. It's great for dramatic, smoky looks. It's also just an overall, if you're in a pinch, you can use it as eyebrow powder. So, all right, so let's go ahead and dot so you can see the two colors. And I'm just gonna buff that in all over my face. And for me, because I have such an interesting like underlying color, a lot of times in order to get like a perfect match, I have to mix colors. It doesn't matter what brand I'm using. I almost have to mix colors all the time. So interestingly enough, the CC cream retails for about $16.90, and it's a pretty decent size CC cream. The Stay Matte, I believe, retails for $12.90. So in order to get a foundation for me that matches really, really well, and you can see, I mean, it's a perfect match, just mixing those two together for me. I've mixed 2 foundations, and it cost me about $30. So, that being said, I had a Fenty Beauty foundation, and I still had to mix it. And the Fenty Beauty foundation, I believe, was almost $40, and I had to buy a second one so I could get like a color that matched. And I know that, you know, they've got all of those colors, but I fall somewhere in between those colors. I'm always in between, apparently. So I had to spend about, you know, we'll say $75 on 2 foundations just so I could get one foundation that matched me. So now I'm spending about $30 retail to get a foundation that matches me perfectly. I mean, look at that. And even, you know, bring it down to the neck. It is a little bit lighter than my neck, but I'm going to be wearing something that covers up my neck today, so it doesn't really matter. But this is great because, you know, I still have a little bit of a tan from summer. You know, having melanin, you still tan. Excuse me. So, what we're going to do next, now that I've got my foundation on, I'm actually going to use a little bit more of the CC cream, but I'm going to apply that to just my eyelids to kind of act as like an eyeshadow primer. So I'm going to put it on my foundation brush, the flat foundation brush, and just dab it over my entire lid, and I'm going to use my fingers to kind of blend that in. So the reason you use a primer on your eyelids if you're doing a dramatic look is because it adds a base that your shadow can actually hold on to. So just blending that in. Got a little bit on my eyebrows, but that doesn't matter because I'm going to be putting eyebrows on, or at least filling in my eyebrows a little bit later. Okay, so eyelids are primed. I like having a towel around my neck because I can just do this. It's really nice. It's a microfiber towel, so it actually takes the makeup off your hands pretty easily. We're going to put a little bit of concealer / highlight because I'm using a very, very bright color. This is the Full Coverage Liquid Concealer. I'm using it in color number 1, which is Bisque. So I'm using it more for an under eye highlight rather than a concealer. I don't think my, I'm actually going to put a little bit down my nose like that. So I like to use this more as highlight under my eyes. I do have like some dark circles, but you know, it's not the worst yet. It's still aging. Don't worry, this gets blended in. I know it looks, oh, maybe I'll put a little bit up there on my eyelid too. I guess this could have been a Halloween costume. I could have been like super highlight. Alright, where's my trusty sponge? There it is. So you're going to take the sponge and just dab it in. But you can see like how that has kind of highlighted this under eye area all the way down actually. And of course we're going to be putting some bronzer over that to kind of, you know, give it some color. But you can see like now my under eye area is brighter, shinier, dare I say younger looking. And same thing here. I'm just going to use my fingers to kind of blend it in here, and then my sponge to pat it down. So I may or may not have used a little bit too much on the forehead. May or may not have. But again, the wondrous thing about the Beauty sponge, and this is, by the way, a pharmacy sponge, makeup sponge. It's really nice. It's very soft. But it also pats away some of the excess, so as you're putting your makeup on, if you notice that you used a little too much of something, when you pat it into your skin using your blending sponge, it kind of takes away some of that excess as well. And sadly, Pharmacy does not have a loose translucent powder, so I'm going to be using a different translucent powder, loose translucent powder, excuse me, to set my under eye and my highlight. So I'm just using a little cotton round, and I'm going to be placing a little powder under my eye, just to kind of let that set in. But the other reason why I'm doing this is because I am doing some darker colors on my eyelids, and when I do that, a lot of times I end up with a lot of, I guess they call it fallout, where that color actually kind of falls onto your lower lids and cheeks, and if you're using these dark colors, it actually makes you look like a raccoon. And as much as I love raccoons, I love them from a distance, but I never really actually want to look like one. So, unless I'm doing a costume, and I'm not doing, it might look like I'm doing a costume, but I'm not doing a costume. So, that is just a translucent, loose powder to kind of set under the eye area, and also to keep all of that, the darkness, keep the darkness away. So for my transition color, I'm actually going to be using the Peach Bite. So we've seen this palette before. It's Peach Bite, and you can see that peachy color right there. We're going to be using that peach color as the transition shade, so that's going to go over the entire eyelid. And with that, we are going to be using a fluffy brush. I'm actually not a big fan of this brush. It's a little rough. So I won't tell you what brand it is. It's not Pharmacy, I will say that. we're going to use my Farrah brush. Now, I don't know about you, but I also get an Ipsy bag, even though I am a retailer of very fine European quality makeup. I still get my Ipsy bag because I'm interested to know what people are using and whether or not Pharmacy has anything that is comparable. But one thing that I absolutely, when they give me a chance to choose, if it's available, I will always choose a brush, because I feel like you can never have too many brushes. I mean, I'm sure you could, but I mean, can you really have too many brushes? I don't think so. So I'm just going to, you can see I'm putting this nice beautiful peach shade all over my lid because I want that to be the transition color. Now, because we're doing some smoky stuff, we're going to smoke it out. We're going to use our Amazon Green. So this is kind of a shimmery color, and it is also a, it's a mono eyeshadow number 8, but it is very, you can see that it's got a little bit of shimmer in there. So even though I'm working during the day, it's okay to have a little shimmer in your life, right? So I'm going to go ahead and use this as my crease color. And I'm going to pull a different mirror so I can actually see what I'm doing. So here I am, and I am just going to go very lightly in the crease. Because again, I know I want to do a dramatic look, but I am also going to work. So I'm a dermatology PA in the Chicagoland area, but today I'm putting on my aesthetic PA hat. So I'm going to work at the Aesthetic Med Spa. And so I'd like to look somewhat fashionable, but I don't want to look like I'm getting ready to go to the club either. So here is my Amazon Green. So again, I want it to be a little bit more dramatic than that, so I am going to put a little bit more. And I also want to let you know, though, too, for those of you who have hooded eyelids, who, you know, if you put something in your crease, the color disappears, you can always go up a little bit higher. So, like, right where you feel your brow bone, you can actually apply your shadow right at that brow bone area, just like that. And what that does is it kind of gives you the resemblance of a crease in your eyelid. So we're going to go ahead and go to the other side and do the same thing. We're just going to start light, kind of get that color going. So you can see we're getting some color going in that crease area. Now I am not really coloring in that outer V corner because I want to use my black tie to get that kind of smoked in. I want that smoked in look. So again, my eyelids aren't truly hooded, but they're on their way. So I'm going to go ahead and just make sure I put that color a little bit up on the brow bone so my Amazon Green is actually visible. Because what we're going to do with the Black Tide, we still want to see some of that Amazon Green. Okay, I think We need just a little bit more drama on this eye. Okay, so there's our Amazon green, and now we're going to do a lid color. So the lid color obviously is this area right here from the lash line up to the actual crease. And this is the Beautiful eyeshadow palette. It was limited. It came with limited time, so Beautiful eyeshadow trio palette. And the one thing I find interesting about these palettes is these are the same size as the Mono Shadow eyeshadows, and we can compare the size. So they're giving you the exact same size of your Mono Shadow in this particular palette. Now in the other palettes that's not the case, but this was amazing. But again, for that lid shade, we're actually going to use this color, and they don't really give us names for the purple color, but it's purple-ish. So I'm going to take a flatter shadow brush, still kind of fluffy but flatter, and just take a little bit of that, and I'm going to pat it all across my lid, just like that. So we're doing a smoky fall kind of thing going on here. Some people will actually break up the lid color and do like half here and half there. I'm doing one color all across the entire lid, but I may put a little bit of highlight in the middle just to kind of brighten up my eyes a little bit, because we're doing smoky, but I still want my eyes to be somewhat bright. It's kind of like an oxymoron, isn't it? I want my eyes to be dark and smoky but bright. Yeah. So we'll see if it can be done, and I mean, if it looks ridiculous, the best thing about makeup is that you can just wash it off, and because I'm taking good care of my skin, if I need to, I can always go to work with a bare face. So, I mean, all is not lost if this look doesn't turn out well. And guess what? You can always go to work with a bare face also. So we just need to make sure that we're taking really good care of our skin all the time. And like I said, today I used Age Reversus serum. I wash my face with a multitude of cleansers. Some are very, very high-end that I get in my med spa, so they're medical grade. And some of them are my pharmacy products, like the Rose Gel Cleanser or the Age Reversus Cleanser. So I definitely kind of mix up my cleansers depending on what I feel like using that day. I also exfoliate, but I tend to only exfoliate about once a week. And sometimes I think once a week might be a little bit too much, but you know, we're all kind of doing what we think our skin needs at the time. So, all right. So now we are going to take trying to find a really good brush for this. Here we go. So this is actually a crease brush, and I'm taking my black Tide now, and you can see how pigmented that is. I mean, I literally just did that, and boom, it's like pigment all over the place. We're going to take this into the crease and into that lower V, or the outer V. Look at that. Look at how pigmented that is. And that's your outer V right there. You see how I'm kind of making a little V with my my black tide shadow. So we're getting, I don't want to cover up all the green. We're going to blend it all in later. But I'm also going to take this color and go under my lower lash line, just like that. But I'm only going to go halfway, because again, I still want my eyes to look somewhat bright. You go all the way across with this dark color, it actually makes your eyes look a little bit smaller. So I kind of don't want my eyes to look smaller because they're already kind of on the small side. And just want to make sure that I'm staying on the lower end of that V. Alright, and we're going to go to the other side and do the same thing. Now the one thing that I noticed when I started doing these makeup videos, I make the weirdest faces when I'm doing my makeup. I'm like, ooh, So try not to laugh too hard while you're watching me do my makeup. I'm sorry if my faces are scary. But they're somewhat of a necessary evil for me, because it makes my brain think that I'm doing something awesome. I'm just going to pull some of that black tide out a little bit more on this side and a little bit more on this side so I don't look like Svengoolie, you know. Alright, now what we need to do is take a blending brush and just kind of blend all of that. So let's blend, blend, blend. And never fear about the little extra stuff that ends up over here, because again, we're going to kind of brush that away. We're going to blend, blend, blend. Now to make sure that my lower eyelid doesn't get too out of control, we've got a little bit of my my CC cream, and I'm just going to draw right underneath that black. So we know that that's not going to get too out of control. And again, I'm going to take that brush and just draw right underneath that black. Okay. So when I pat this in, I'm patting in an upward motion, because if you pat in a downward motion, it kind of defeats the purpose of using that CC cream to keep the black from getting out of control. So, you know, you push it down, you're going to push it down onto your lower lid, and then why did you use this stuff in the first place? All right. I'm going to brush away all of that. See? Minimal fallout because we used that powder there, so we were able to brush all of that away. So I'm not a big fan of the way that line looks. I want it to be a little bit cleaner. So again, I'm going to take a little bit of CC cream on my flat foundation brush and just draw a little line. You can do the same thing over here. And then just pat it in, going upward. Ta-da! So that line looks a lot cleaner now. And of course, we're going to use some brows and get that brow pencil in. So this is the eyebrow liner, and I am using color number 3, which is the darkest color. So there's 3 colors, 1, 2, and 3, because I have dark hair. So I want my brow color to somewhat match my darker hair, but I don't want to use black. Not today. Usually if I use black, I'm using black as a powder, not as a pencil, because black tends to be as a pencil for me on my eyebrows, because I have such sparse eyebrows. The black tends to look a little too harsh for me. And I don't pluck my eyebrows because my eyebrows are sparse, and they've more or less been that way almost my entire life, I guess. So I don't pluck them because, you know, if I pluck them, Lord knows if they'll actually grow back. It'll be my luck that they won't, and so then I'll end up having to draw them in, and everyone knows I am not an artist. So, what I am looking for is my eyebrow brush, which, when I'm using powder, it's got this really great slanted brush, and it's awesome because look how wide it is. It's such a wide eyebrow brush that I can actually do like a really good point when I'm drawing my eyebrows on. I can do a good point right there, and it covers the entire mid-brow, which is awesome. But I'm using it today for the spoolie side, and I just take, after I use my pencil, I just spoolie my eyebrows up. So the pencil, in a sense, is kind of acting like an eyebrow gel for me, because, you know, the pencil has wax, and we're just kind of brushing that upward. So all of the eyebrow hairs are like in the same direction. And it also softens up those strokes that I made with my pencil. So there's that. Now, like I said, I kind of wanted to do something kind of highlighty in the middle. So this is, I just want to show you, this is another palette. These palettes are available in the catalog and on the website. So this is the Sunset Kiss palette. I wrote on it so I could know what was in it, because on the back it's really, really tiny what it says. But this is our Sunset Kiss palette, and it's very fall-like, if you will. And we have a couple of highlight, and so there's like a gold, and then there's like a bronzy kind of color and a bright highlight color. So I am going to use that bright highlight color to highlight, so this one right here, to highlight that inner eye area. So you can see it's not like in your face highlight. Again, I'm going to work, so I want to be somewhat dramatic, but I don't want to, I don't want to be over the top dramatic. So I'm just putting this in my inner canthus, because that's the term for that. And then I'm going to carry this color from my inner canvas to meet the black tide towards the middle. And again, we're meeting in the middle. I don't know if you like country music, but there's a song called Meet in the Middle, and it goes, I start walking your way, you start walking mine. We meet in the middle, neath that old Georgia pine. We gained a lot of ground, but we both gave a little. Ain't no road too long if you meet in the middle. I'm sure you guys did not sign up to watch me do karaoke, but there you go. So again, in the center area, I just want to put a little bit of the highlight just right smack dab there in the center. Nothing too dramatic, because we still want our smoky eye to be dramatic. Dramatic without all the drama. So that is our eye look. So when you're wearing your mask, you can, people will be looking at your eyes when you talk to them. One more thing that I think I want to do, I love the glitter eyeliners. So I'm going to go grab one and we'll put a little bit of glitter eyeliner on. So what I have grabbed is the Extreme Black glitter eyeliner. So we just, not really sure why they call it Extreme Black, because it's really more of a pewter. But I love glitter eyeliner. It's pretty. It's a little extra without being too extra. So we're going to put some of this on right now. I'm just going to grab another mirror so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to start all the way on the inner lid and just carry this all the way across. So you see you've got a little bit of glitter there on that lash line. And I think it's really pretty. And we'll do a little bit more on the other side. So this is the brush. So you can take quite a bit of product, or you can kind of wipe away and let me see. You can wipe away some of that product, and then you'll end up with a very thin line. But I am going to use a lot of product because we're being dramatic today. Again, like I said, I'm starting all the way in the center, and I'm carrying it all the way across the lash line. I'm giving it a little bit of a wing, but not too much. So there you go. You've got that lovely glitter. Okay. And now you can see what a difference that glitter made right there. I am going to be using some false lashes for my final look. So I'll take a picture of the final look because I'm not putting my false lashes on camera because nobody needs to see that. Not even me, but unfortunately I do because I have to be the one to put it on. But let's do a little bit on my lower, so a little bit of blush there. So I'm going to be using my, it's actually a powder brush, but I'm just going to put a little bit right here, just to kind of give me a little bit of color. And this part is just for me. So when I'm driving in my car, people look at you, you know, when you're driving, and I don't want them to think that I'm like a crazy person with half a face of makeup. And then I'm going to be using this really light, fluffy brush here to add some highlight. So what I'm using right here, this is actually the 3-in-1 face palette. And the 3-in-1 face palette has a bronzer, a highlight, and a blush. So, also available in the catalog and on the website. But I love this one because I can actually do my full face just using this, you know, because I can use that bronzer color as a shadow, my highlighter as a shadow. You can even use the blush as a shadow, but you can use that bronzer color as a contour. Maybe I can't. This one might be a little bit too light for me for contour, but these palettes, especially the 3-in-1, they're very, very versatile. So definitely look into that. I am going to be doing a little bit of some lip gloss as well. We're going to do some Coral Baby, right? So this is one of the new nude shades in Coral Baby. And no liner. So nice nude shade, and of course now I can take this down. My hair is still a little bit wet, so it takes forever to dry, which is why I have the towel around my neck actually, because I don't like that feeling of wet hair on your neck. But this is going to be my work look, so some dramatic eye there. Hello, how are you? And then this is my driving face. Nobody get too scared. All right, so I will see you guys later. I'd like to thank you for joining me on my beauty journey, because as I'm doing these videos, I'm learning a lot about makeup and about application, and also about why I'm doing what I'm doing, and we'll talk about that some other day. But I'm really, really appreciative of all of you who join me and my journey to learn more about makeup and pharmacy, cosmetics, and skincare as well. If you have any questions, please feel free to either send me a message or put your question in the comment box, and I'd be more than happy to answer those questions for you. If you found value and you feel like someone else can get some value from this video as well, I would really appreciate it if you would be so kind and spread the love, spread the journey, and share. So thank you very much, and I will see you guys later.